Fucking cheers, dude.
Fucking.
Can I get a fucking cheers, dude?
Yeah, you can.
Just fucking cheers me, man. You don't like it?
No, but no, obviously I don't like it, but
Yeah.
what if I was like that? Where I was like, ooh, it's gross.
No, this is good. This is some good ass beer. It's from, so if you don't know, our gym is downstairs from a brewery and it's really, really good. And so Skyler and I just finished a session of training at the gym. We're working on some clips for something or other. And I'm not going to say anything more about that something or other right now.
Little roundup.
Little what?
Go on.
Anyways, so yeah, we've got some stuff in the works, but I'm not gonna get any more information out.
No.
But yeah, we just finished doing that today, and then we're drinking beer and podcasting. So welcome back to another episode.
Hello, everyone.
It's been a little bit of time. Just trying to really get my shit together, and it's hard. It's hard to get my shit together.
Yeah, and I think I started a new job since the last one. No.
Yeah, well, since you've been on last.
Yeah.
Because it's been like a month since you've been on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your schedule is way busier, so it's harder for the two of us to sit down. Yeah. But like since you've been on last, we dropped those. Well, since you were on last, we did the episode with Brian, and then we did the episode with Joey and Jared and AJ, and then we did the episode with Robbie. So it's been 3 episodes, but it's been like a month.
Yeah.
Because it was like, or even more, because Brian's came out, and then 2 weeks went by, and then the 2 USA PK episodes dropped, and it's been 2 weeks, and now we're here, which is not the schedule I want. I want to be uploading weekly.
Yeah.
But there have just been other things in my life that have been taking priority, which don't.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I have a couple other episodes in the works that are like a bit bigger, like feature produced episodes that are not like
conceptual.
Yeah, instead of just like being like, hey,
what's going on
on Instagram?
Yeah.
And I think I've mentioned this earlier. The next one that I'm trying to get out is the state of parkour competitions in 2020, and that'll kind of like walk us through a recap of parkour comp through the years, and then kind of get us caught up to what's going on now and just the state of things, especially with FIG and where we're headed in the next few years with the Olympics and stuff like that. But that's going to take a bit of research
about the Olympics.
Yeah, which is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But
I don't even really know what to picture.
I mean, at this point, really linear speed courses.
True.
So we'll see what happens. But on that note, well, one more media thing before we get going. We dropped a new video last week on Unparalleled's channel. It's another kid video. It's some of my advanced students that I've been coaching. And right before Christmas, we had 3 weeks of classes between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we just filmed a video during class. And that was like what class was for those 3 weeks. That was the curriculum. So that was really fun because it was kind of like showing them more of what we would actually do with parkour. You know, it's more, it's like an application of it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's it's like a finished product that they were working on.
Exactly.
In class.
Exactly. And so really stoked on some of the stuff that they threw down. Like Xander's lines were that shit.
I can't wait for him to grow up.
I know.
More.
It's gonna be crazy.
He's so dope.
And then Hazel's lines. I don't know. They all were awesome. It was really cool. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. One more media mention that I want to shout out is if you haven't somehow seen any of the video essays that Jimmy the Giant has been putting out on his channel, you should change that because they're really, really good. They've been awesome. The 2 that have been prevalent lately are the kind of the story of Urban Free Flow and everything that went into that and like the rise and fall of that company, and then the story of the Flow channel. And there was so much in that episode that I didn't know about. I just didn't know how it ran just because it wasn't transparent, which there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't know. So he's been putting out stellar content. So make sure if you haven't, go check it out. I think it's really cool.
From what I've heard, I agree too, but I've never watched them. I haven't watched them.
Yeah, I've asked you multiple times to watch them.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna.
Because why?
Too busy. Don't have time.
No. It's because you don't listen to me.
Don't listen to you. Don't have time. I just want to watch a parkour video.
Yeah.
I'll watch them now, though. Now that you
will
me out like this.
Yeah.
Not that I heard you, but
Exactly. Since the last episodes as well, Sport Parkour League has dropped all of their dates for the 2020 season.
and then today they just did the announcement of where their like mystery location was going to be.
Yeah.
In its Project Underground.
Which is really exciting.
Which is that's.
It's so cool to see that they're spreading the circuit.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I've never been there, but every time there's been a competition at Project Underground, it has seemed to be really intense.
It's like very high level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like something about that location and then just like kind of the vibe, I feel like just brings out just like
I mean,
the best.
The density of the athletes over there.
Yeah,
because it's like the amount that they have to travel to get to that location for anyone in Europe or anyone in England
Yeah.
is so low compared to like anything that we have to do in America, which is why there's so many like regional competitions that they do in the States.
Yeah.
Because like if I want to go to any of the other regional competitions in the States this year, I have to drive a minimum of 8 hours or fly, you know.
True.
It's not happening.
Well, that, I guess, apart from Argent, like Unparalleled being a pretty like, I don't want to say big name, but it's a pretty big name among like the gyms in America.
Yeah.
In terms of the community, it's very isolated. So is it just going to be Montana people at this one? Like, what are you picturing?
It's Fool's Jam.
Oh, yeah.
It's during Fool's Jam, so there's going to be fucking everyone here. It's going to be crazy.
Okay.
Like,
That's fair.
And after how much good feedback we got from last year's competition that everyone saw and was like, whoa, this was like a really well-polished event.
Yeah.
Feedback, not me. I think it was good. I think it has a lot of room to grow. But all the feedback we got, I feel like there's going to be more people showing up, both because it's an SBL qualifier and because we kind of did like proof of concept last year to be like, this is what we can do. So I think it's going to be large. If it was just a competition and Fool's Jam wasn't attached, I would probably see it and be like Spokane, Kalispell, Bozeman, maybe Seattle, Portland, and maybe Calgary people coming.
Yeah.
Maybe
like
Denver.
1 or 2 Colorado.
Coloritos.
Don't worry about that. We'll move on.
So it sounds more like a coffee drink than a place.
Do you think, because here's what I've thought. Every time there's been like a competition here, it's very isolated. Do you think people are gonna see Missoula as like an easy qualifying spot?
Well, that's interesting.
Because in my head it has been, because it's like the communities surrounding here are not big, and like.
So you think people might be like, oh, this might be an easy shot for me to get in?
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. But with Fool's Jam,
everyone's gonna be there.
Regardless. I think it's gonna be one of the most stacked qualifiers, except maybe Project Underground.
Yeah.
Because, there's gonna be a. If I'm just thinking about like in terms of last year, like who was here, it would be a hard competition to get.
True. Is Tim coming again?
I don't know.
He's already qualified. Fuck it.
Yeah. As far as like invited athletes or people we're trying to get here or anything like that, everything's still in the works. Mm-hmm. It all comes down to sponsor money and what we can make happen.
Yeah.
Which we're working on, but.
And Davis is representing Unparalleled in all competitions now, right?
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool.
Just cool. He's cool.
What do you think Sid represents now?
I don't know, fish.
Well, he represented Origins last time he competed at NABC, right? That was what he was doing.
Yeah, but
I guess
was he even living here then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He had just moved when he went last time.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if he wants to, sure.
I guess.
I don't, but it's that's his game.
Is that what sponsorship is? You just have to represent that brand at competitions now?
I mean, that's part of sponsorship. I mean, every contract is going to be different in like how that kind of works. Yeah. But representing at events is one of the biggest things you can do, because when you are making a name for yourself at these events, people are watching, you're like, oh, it's fucking Ed's on Storm. You know, Storm must be sick. Not that anyone hasn't gotten to that mindset yet.
Oh, yeah.
You know, which is just a testament to how good of a job Kai and everyone at Storm has done of building that to where it's like, yeah, obviously. But yeah. So,
do you think the athletes give more credence to the brand, or the brand gives more credence to the athletes?
for the most part, athletes give more to the brands, and there are a few to where it's like a big thing if you get put on the team. Like, okay, back in the day, like if you got onto Urban Free Flow, it was like such a big deal, and that helped like that recognize you as an athlete in the community. Exactly. Whereas now I feel like most of the brands are pretty small, and they're like a few teams that, you know, like, but like, I mean, remember when like Ed and Tim like got on Storm, it was like, oh, let's like, it definitely helped push their name. But I think they've done just as much, if not more, to like continue to solidify what Storm is. But, and in the same vein, when you think about Storm, like say Storm Era, like Volume 1, the brand feels different because of who was involved. Whereas now it feels like a very different like animal. And I'm sure that's partially where Kai and them have like chosen to go, as well as the people that they've chosen to bring on. I think it's very intentional.
Yes. Well, yeah, with like Tim and Ed being put on Storm, for me when I saw that, it was like, oh, that's big for Storm. It's not, I didn't think, oh, that's big for them. Because Tim and Ed are already huge athletes, kind of.
Yeah, well, I think they're...
Ed less than, like, Tim or... Especially Joe, I guess. Tim and Joe.
I would almost say...
Because when Ed got added to Storm, I didn't know who he was before that.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, that might just be me.
That could be
the community might have known.
Because you have a tendency to not pay attention.
Or look into anything.
Yeah, or do research.
Yeah. You could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's an interesting thought. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, as brands grow bigger, the weight that they bring to the athletes they sign becomes greater and greater.
Yeah, well, right now, Storm is, to me, the image that Storm is inseparable from Tim, Joe, and Ed. Yeah. Whereas back in the day, I mean, they had that initially with, like, the first, you know, what would you say? What did you say? I don't remember the name of the video. When it was
Volume 1?
Volume 1. Storm Volume 1.
Do you know what video that is?
Yes, I know. It's the one where Blue lights his legs on fire, right?
No!
Oh!
Dude,
okay.
what?
So what video was that?
That was Origins.
Okay,
Storm
so
Origins, I'm pretty
that
sure.
video, they were at that point where it was kind of inseparable. It was like Tim and Blue were kind of the image of Storm for me.
Okay.
And then in between that and then Joe and Ed and Tim, different Tim. In between that, the brand's separated from athletes, where it was like Tim's doing this own thing, and like the image of what Storm was is different from them.
That's fair.
And then now, which is good, I think they like joined again.
It's like very merged. Yeah.
I think with things like, for me, like Normal Brand was always the one that was giving out the most sponsorships and like trying to be the biggest thing that they could for an athlete.
Yeah.
And like give the most they could. For a long time, to me, that was like a good, Normal Brand seemed, I would perceive it as they were giving credence to these athletes. Okay. But then, I mean, now where I'm at, I look at it, their athletes are giving credence to the brand. Of Normal Brand. Especially athletes like Nathan or who else is with him? I don't...
Never heard of him. Oh! Cool, he's gonna get sad when he sees that.
Yeah.
Anyways. Well, speaking of Nate, he's in LA, and they just, today, as of recording this, did the, like, little street comp.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and I was just watching some stories from, like, the athletes there.
Yeah, Jeff posted a bunch of stories. It looked like just like a big jam.
Kinda, yeah.
Which is kind of what Join or Die was, where it's just like, we're all gonna go jam, and it also has a competitive format to where it's like very casual. Mm-hmm. And I think that's cool. I like having different kind of formatted events like that, where it's not like, you're here to compete, it has to be you throwing down, and that's it. It's kind of like, we're hanging out, and also someone's gonna do some cool stuff, and like, great, you know? I think it's good community building.
Yeah, definitely a good move for Tempest, because from what I had heard before, like Nate even moved there, was kind of that the community in LA was pretty
dismal.
Yeah, dismal.
Yeah,
weak.
Yeah, that's always what I've perceived and has been told to me, where it seems like, and I don't think Tempest is, like it's their responsibility to build the community per se, but I just think that there's so much potential to have this gigantic community of people, but it feels very like disjointed.
Yeah.
And they're all like people who are on Tempest are really focused on like their own careers, and that's what they're there to do. And I get that, and that's the point. But I just think that that area could really benefit from a bigger community, and that seems like what today's event was fantastic.
Yeah, looking at the stories that Jeff posted, I didn't, apart from Dominic, I didn't know really like any athletes.
Yeah. So
I don't
really
know if
cool.
they had traveled to compete or if they were LA locals and everything.
Yeah.
But, I mean, none of them were bad, per se.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So they have a strong community of athletes, like strong ability.
Yeah.
It's just like getting them to, I don't know, put out stuff.
Yeah.
Because what year was it when Tempest posted a video that said, their caption was like, LA, arguably the free running capital of the world. And I mean, at least us, it was just a huge joke. Because LA, no one really thinks of parkour and then goes, oh, LA.
Yeah.
They, like Colorado, maybe. Mostly
Colorado, maybe. For mostly, America, maybe.
Yeah.
If I Europe. Like, I feel like London is the parkour capital of the world.
Exactly.
Like almost like just easy call. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like when they posted that, it was just like, I haven't seen anything from LA for really a long time.
And I think a lot of that is just marketing, you know, and they're going to do that, and that's fine. And I can't really knock them on that because people outside of the parkour are going to see that and be like, whoa, that's really cool.
Well, maybe.
Let's sign up, you know, and it's going to make the money, and that's cool. And we need more money on parkour. And it's one of those things where like, I'm going to laugh about it, and then be like, it probably worked.
Yeah. Well, it was like they could be a
hub of, yeah, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like there's so many people there that like the amount of people that go through their gym is huge, probably.
Oh no, it's absolutely crazy.
So
and it is crazy because I have people that I see who aren't per se involved in parkour who I've like seen them go and train at Tempest, like go to an open gym, and I'm like, that's like crazy. Influencers. Yeah, like this one guy, his name is Dan. I'm forgetting his last name, but he like lives.
Could be anyone.
He could be anyone. Blazarian.
Yeah.
No, and he actually came through the gym a couple times. Like we were having an event, and he was really super cool dude. Friends with a lot of like my photographer friends. I just like saw him training there the other day, and I was like, that's so weird. Not in a bad way. It's just like not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Oh wait, I mean Casey Neistat was there a couple times.
Yeah, which I've heard that name a lot, but I don't know who he is.
Okay, do some goddamn research on the internet.
No. I don't want to.
That's fine. You don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I said I've heard his name a lot.
Cool.
So he's obviously big. If I don't know anything about the internet and I'm hearing that name, he's big.
Yeah. I mean, he is arguably the most influential vlogger of all time. Like he created the vlogging kind of culture that we have today.
You want to know what I thought he was? A skater.
Nice. Anyways.
So what is he?
A vlogger.
Does he do anything?
I mean, he's like a filmmaker.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. He did like 800 some days of daily vlogs.
Oh, okay.
And it's like just a really cool creator, just super smart guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're going to get your shit roasted in the comments on this episode.
No, I don't care.
But like I just saw him at Tempest, and he doesn't do parkour or anything. He's just a dude.
Yeah. There's like WWE wrestlers that I know about.
So it's like they're doing really cool things, and you can't take away from that at all because it's stuff that is really exciting seeing just random people in a parkour gym. That's cool. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of work that could be done to help bolster the actual community.
Yeah.
But that's not everyone's like priority. That's fine.
But the changes they made to their team and kind of the changes I've seen in their image since at least when they redid the team
and like revamped it.
Yeah, with Nate and
Jeff.
Like changed the athletes, and then everything I've seen since then, it seems like they are trying to build that parkour community,
which is cool.
Is commendable.
It's appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't follow Tempest, but I am about to because they're doing team trainings and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, it seems like their community is
strengthening,
parkour focused.
Yeah, a lot more so than the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can just segue into the kind of like main topic that I wanted to talk about, which is kind of, it's hard to articulate it. It's kind of like imposter syndrome in parkour.
Okay. Good way to put it.
Which we had been talking the other day, and we're working on a video together.
Yes.
And a lot of days we get to the end of the session and we haven't produced any more footage for the video.
Yes.
And to us, it feels like, we kind of like failed. Like we didn't actually like, there was no progression.
Yes.
But it's not true because like say the other day, we were working on the line. You're chipping away on it. You're making progress. 'Cause it's like, even though the other day we didn't get a finished clip, they were like, oh, cool, that's done. We were still much, much, much closer to getting the clip than we were at the beginning of the session. And so the next time we go back to that clip, we'll be like way closer and way farther ahead of where we started the first day. Exactly. And we can probably get it done.
Well, yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, the context that like we talked about this was we had finished the clip. And I think what I said was, I don't like the way this looks. I'm sure that if we look back on it later, it might suffice. Like it might be good. Because the way the clip ended up, I didn't like the way my part looked or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if that's just me being, too critical of myself, or if it's going to turn out better in the future, or it's going to objectively this is good.
You just can't see it right now because you're being overly critical.
Yes.
Yeah. And then when we're walking away from it, it feels like we accomplished nothing, even though we did make some progress.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of that boils down to this very like comparative nature of things where you're like, because we're looking at it as like a failure, even though it wasn't really. It's a 0 or like a small positive because we worked on the video today. And if we worked on the video like a couple days every week, like the video is going to get done eventually and we're going to do it. Mm-hmm. Whereas if we did nothing, we didn't do anything, we didn't make anything. And obviously we like 1 is more than 0.
Yeah. Doing something is better than doing nothing.
Absolutely. And I think that crops up all the time in parkour. Where just like that mindset, you're just like so like against yourself. Basically. And I've noticed that in my training so often over the last couple of years, especially since I've been recovering from my broken leg, and how my training has changed since then versus before then. Whereas like my skill set is kind of different and I'm more comfortable with certain things and I'm less comfortable with certain things. But I feel like I should just be able to like charge through it and be the same athlete, and I'm just not. Mm-hmm. And I think it makes me feel like I'm not like a real parkour athlete.
Yeah.
Which is insane to think about. Like, I feel like I don't think anyone that I've ever met would ever actually say, nah, he's not actually a parkour athlete.
About you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ever.
Of course.
But in my head, I'm like, I'm like not like really it.
Well, because, when you were before your leg injury, you had an image of like, here's what it's like to be a pro athlete. And then like, you pretty much it's hard to shift your mindset from that probably.
And it's hard not to compare myself to that person and not compare myself to who I think is like the peak athlete.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing the things that those people are doing, then I'm not a real athlete, basically.
You're not accomplishing things type thing.
Yeah. And I maybe not even accomplishing things, because I still have days where like, I make progress, I accomplish things, I feel good about my training, but I think it degrades my like overall mentality towards parkour, because I feel like I'm just like scrambling and fighting to like keep up rather than just like enjoying my training and being able to view my training out of context of all these other things that are happening.
Yes.
Because if I show up and I do parkour and I train for say an hour and I objectively get better at parkour because I train for an hour, that is progress.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of times I will show up, train for an hour, and then walk away being like, I didn't do anything like really hard, and I didn't do anything like that was like really scary or like anything like that. Therefore, I failed today, and I'm not getting better. And I think that mentality makes me worse than if I was able to just let it go and just be like, I'm training today. It was fun.
I'm enjoying what I'm
doing. I'll train tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, like even today when we were training, like we made some progress on a concept for the video, and then it kind of like started breaking down.
Yeah.
I think just because of exhaustion and everything.
Yeah.
But all I did was just like, all right, I'm just gonna do something else, and like just made up some other stuff that I wanted to do. And
exactly.
It was fun, and just like allowed myself to be present and kind of lose myself in that.
I'm just gonna go train.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit like what's happening over here? I'm gonna stop worrying about that. I'm just gonna go train and be focused on this one thing right now.
Yeah. And you can have both. You can have the like structured, I need to accomplish these things or work on this thing.
Yeah.
And then when you notice that it's not working out, break off and say, okay, I'm just gonna enjoy training like I used to.
Yeah.
Because especially like this summer for me, I went into the summer being like, I want to structure my training similar. Like in my head, it was like Daryl's kind of the picture. Daryl or Tim is like the picture of someone who structures their training, and like is like, I'm gonna work on this thing until it's perfect.
Yeah,
that's what they do. I don't know. Like I haven't trained with Daryl on his one-on-one. I don't imagine that he is like, I'm just gonna have fun often.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So I went into the summer being like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to like structure my training, and like once I'll do it for like this amount of time, and then I can have fun and just like not worry about stuff.
Yeah.
And like by the end of the summer, it was just like almost like just like debilitating. Like I didn't have fun, and I especially because the end of summer is competition season. Watching NAPC, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna be as good as Josh,
these guys,
Max, or Nate. Like I'm so bad by comparison. And like going into like that period of time being like, I'm only going to like work so that I can be that good.
Yeah.
Really put way more weight into seeing athletes like that and being like, oh, I'm average. And then
but then it just degrades your performance because you're unhappy with how you're training, and then your training's bad because you're unhappy.
Yeah. And so like the last few months has kind of been like working on my video and like the Missoula Parkour Group video. It was kind of just like me. I would go into sessions and just tell myself, okay, you're just going to have fun. Like, don't worry about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like I found like a balance between being like, I want to get these clips filmed and like accomplish things, and I can just have fun and not worry about it.
Yeah.
And like my video took longer to make than I wanted, but
in 2 years you're gonna look back and be like, I'm happy it came out this way.
Exactly.
Who cares that it took a little bit longer? It's like there's not some big old budget that has looming over it, so you have to get this done.
Yeah.
We're out of money, it's like
we are out of money.
We are out of money. We're making this on no money. It's like, we'll just get it done. The only looming thing is winter.
Exactly.
So we got it done before winter. It was good.
Yeah. Well, like I set a deadline for the project we're working on now, where it's like, I want to finish this by, in my head, it's June.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that because...
Well, because I've set a deadline in my head of when I want to finish it, and it's end of March.
Okay, that works good for me because, like, I was like, we're pretty close now, right? We're like halfway.
I'd say we're less than halfway.
We're like halfway.
Okay. Yeah, round up. We're rounding here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like at the rate we're going, if like we just don't stop trying, I feel like we'll get there like, end of March-ish.
Because there's going to be days, like if you are going in like with a big, like, here's what we need to do.
Yeah.
There's going to be days where it's not going to work. And then the day is going to come where you're going to like really be popping off and you're going to be able to accomplish a lot in one day.
I mean, you remember the day we had a few weeks ago where the first like 3 to 4 days we worked on this project, it was like very minimal accomplishment. And I feel like we really struggled to get anything done. And then we had one day where we just popped like 3 clips out in one day. And it was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So good. And the last 2 sessions we've had were both like very struggle sessions.
Exactly.
But I feel like, you just keep pushing. And some days just like it's a bigger step. And today it was a very small step. And you just...
Yeah. And every day, like everything is going to come in waves.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm just trying my best to just like appreciate the process of it and not be like super objective oriented where it's like I have to finish this. It's like we're working on it. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's really fine. The stakes are so low.
Exactly. But we'll see for me, the easiest thing about like with this project in particular, I love the idea of it so much and I'm so like attached to that I don't mind like, I mean, I get frustrated. I get really frustrated when it goes bad.
Yeah.
But like, like after I kind of calm down or like to calm myself down, it's just the recognition of what we're doing. And it's like, oh, this is a difficult thing. And like,
yeah,
no, like it's pretty unique. Like that's why it's so hard. And
yeah, it's cool and different and unique. And most of all, it is fun.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's frustrating. I can't be like, oh no, I don't get frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got frustrated today and I got frustrated on Thursday when we filmed and like everything. But I understand that it's going to be a hard thing and it's going to take a while and we're going to fail a bunch and that's super okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as far as kind of walking back to what you're saying earlier, I think that's one of the hardest things I've been dealing with over the last year-ish is just letting myself have fun. Like to the point where, I think I told you this, is there was a couple month period to where every time I would go training, I didn't want to train bars because it felt like I was giving into the, like whatever's like easy for me. Uh-huh. And like, so to me, it was like, if I just work on what I'm good at, I'm just like giving up basically. And when I actually thought about that, it was like, this is so insane. The like thought process to get to there. It's like, if you think of any other really good athlete, you'd never be like, why are they working on the thing they're good at? Like, why? Yeah, obviously keep pushing the thing you're good at and keep like even trying to level up farther. Yeah. Yes, work on your weaknesses, but don't stop training the things you're good at because you feel like you're good at it, you know?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, because I had that moment too, kind of this summer too, was like, I primarily, when I trained, focus on like building lines. And then I was like, oh, my skills are lacking.
Yeah, so I need to build those skills back up.
Yeah, so I need to like change that. But I can do both. You can do both.
You can do both. It's totally okay.
And
I just
that's the hard thing to like recognize when you are lost in that feeling of like, I need to, push myself in different areas. Or like, I see it a lot on Instagram of like, I need to, like, people will caption stuff like, oh, this is something I need to work on, so I'm going to do this every day. Like, I don't think that's really genuine.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you don't need to make a point to do it. You're going to work on things.
I mean, that's like saying, hey guys, I'm going to get off social media for a while and posting that on social media. It's like, don't tell us, just shut the fuck up for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, if you're doing it for yourself in that regard and not trying to like, kind of be like, look at me, like trying to be a better athlete, like commend me, it's very much just like kind of, trying to build the ego of being like, look at me be this very detailed athlete, whereas like just like do it,
but
it'll show. It will show.
Well, yes, and here's what I'm saying. This, like that example is like the first time I noticed myself be like influenced by social media to do something that I'm not like into or anything. It was like I would see people post like, I need to keep myself accountable or whatever, so like I'm gonna work on just this. And like I would see that and I'd be like, oh, other people are doing it and they're doing that in their training, so I better
do that too.
Yeah, and then I like that was kind of the point where I was like, I'm not having fun training because I'm only focusing on these things.
Yeah.
Because I was like everyone else.
Well, that's why I did dailies, was to keep myself accountable, because I was like, I want to train consistently and push myself often, and so I'm going to post these clips online every day to keep myself accountable. And I wasn't like, I didn't talk about it. It wasn't like, I'm doing this.
Yeah, you didn't explain the whole reason.
No, it was just like, I was just doing it.
Uh-huh.
And it made me a lot better. It did every single goal I set out for it to do, and probably more, to be honest. And I just did it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, hey guys, I really want to do this thing so I can get better at parkour. It's just like, I'm going to post clips every day.
Yeah.
And then I did it. And then it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the things that drives me crazy is when people's like, hey, I really want to talk about this thing. I'm gonna, dude, the social media thing kills me when people are like, hey, I'm gonna take a break from social media. It's like, you're not taking the break.
Yeah.
Do it. Shut up. In 2 weeks, you can be like, hey guys, I took a break. The other thing that drives me crazy when people post on Instagram and they go, hey, so sorry for not posting for a while.
Oh yeah, that makes
me mad. My God, dude. Just post again. Nobody, I promise you, nobody went, oh no.
I haven't seen a post.
I haven't seen him in a while. If it was 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Like if someone just like dropped off for 6 months and like wasn't talking to people and people like, I well, hope he's okay. Let me check in. But if Ed didn't post for 2 weeks, I would not even notice.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single person on my Instagram that if they didn't post for 2 weeks, I would be like, whoa, that's so weird. The only person maybe is if Store didn't do anything for 2 weeks. Because I'd be like expecting the uploads because it's like such a scheduled thing.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, that's really weird. Like what's going on? But as far as like normal Instagram stuff.
Well, I do notice when people don't post because like I noticed that I wasn't seeing Sid's post on Instagram and I was like, what's going on? And I went to his page and I looked and I was like, I haven't seen like 3 posts. And so I turned on notifications. Like that's happened with multiple.
Yeah, but like how long was that time?
I don't know.
You know, because it's like if a week goes by, I didn't post.
Pasha posts a lot and it happened with him. I wasn't seeing his posts.
Yeah. But I guess my point is like how long did it take you to notice that was happening?
Oh yeah. Probably more. I don't know.
You know, like probably a couple months.
I don't pay attention. So.
Exactly.
I think you and I had different ideas about what I said that day when we were training. When I said like objectively, this is different than I'm perceiving it right now. Like when we were talking about this for the podcast, in my head I was thinking about So Daryl, his Instagram comes off as probably pretty confident to like
self-involved.
What? Yeah.
Very like self-important.
So everything he's probably done since he started, he's never been like, I'm putting this out and it's bad. Or he's been like, you know, everything he's done has always been, this is good.
Okay.
Like, he's putting it out and saying, this is good. When looking back, like, if you go back and look at old videos, objectively, probably not high quality.
But at the time, he feels that the thing he's putting out is good, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a level of, like, deception that even I feel like I need to have in order to, like, even do things. Of, like, I need to tell myself, this shit's good.
Right.
In order to put it out, because I'm not going to. If I was always looking at what I was doing objectively, I probably wouldn't put out anything because it was just like I don't think like.
See, I think that's where your objective and subjective are getting turned around, because I think a lot of the things that you're doing, let's just take a lot of things you do are objectively good. Like your it's good parkour training, but if you were to only look at it from a comparative standpoint in a subjective manner against other people's training, you're going to believe it's bad and you're never going to put out anything. Right? So you need to subjectively like create that confidence within yourself and be like, oh, this is good, and put it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is there's the level of deception where you have to say, this is good enough to put out.
Yeah.
When, like, Daryl, when he was putting out the videos that he did like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He was like, this is good. I'm putting it out. When even maybe at the time looking at it comparatively, it wasn't good.
Yeah, but it's your personal good. It's not the best thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But because he gave himself that deception of like, this shit's good, this is the best, I'm putting it out. He got to a point and like made a name and got to a point where he is putting out objectively good stuff all the time. That was what I was like
trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like when we like made that line or whatever and it didn't go like how we wanted, I was like, this is objectively good. it's going to be good, but I'm not enjoying it right now. I don't think it's good.
Yeah, like the things that we did, I think were solid, but I don't think it could have been better, and I think we weren't happy with where it was, and so we just left it.
Mm-hmm. So I guess if we're switching it to me, the video that I put out, a lot of times, looking at the lines after we filmed them, like my project for the summer and everything, looking at them afterwards, I was like, uh-oh, I had told myself this is good.
Right.
And we did it, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's dope. And then I went back and looked, and I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. But I just trusted that, like, it was the right thing to do.
That sounds more like just doubt than it is actually being like, it's not good. Just like you doubting yourself.
Yeah, but look at my legs a lot of times, right?
I've never looked at your legs.
You should try it.
Nah, I'm good.
You might want to delete the video.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I think we did perceive the topic a little bit differently, but
yeah,
I think the general concept is the same. I think the greater conversation that I was trying to get at was being comparative and the negativity that surrounds being a comparative athlete versus just being yourself. Mm-hmm. Something that I think about a lot is like I compare myself a lot to other people. It's just gonna happen. It's just how social media is. It sucks, and I do my best not to. But it's like I want to get better. But if I really think about it, I do produce stuff that has its own brand of like it's creative and unique in my own way, and I think that's valuable even if that's not by the numbers the best parkour that comes out. I'm not doing a third twist in a second flip, but I think I'm thinking about things in a way that other people don't think about it, and I think that provides value to the community or just to whoever the fuck wants to watch. Like I'm not some community messiah, like fuck that shit. But whoever, people enjoy it, and so there must be something to that. Right. And I think that, and so the more and more I think about it, the more and more I realize that you just have to find what you're good at or what your kind of like style is and just lean the fuck into it and be you and just be yourself.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the like just direct best. I am not jumping 20 feet running,
Yeah.
But just putting things together in a different way and the ways that people don't think about, I think provides value.
Yeah.
And
I think so. You see objective good as what's best for you. Like you're making progress for yourself and, you're progressing as an athlete.
Yeah.
Objectively, that's good.
Yes.
For me, I do see objective good, like in parkour, or objective like quality as like the standard that is like NAPC athletes. Like I do see that as like good.
Okay, but competitive and non-competitive exist.
Okay, different example. Objective quality would be Modus athletes.
Okay.
Or Storm athletes. Stuff like that. The projects that they produce.
Okay.
Like the lines that they put together in videos and the skills that they do. That's like objective good. And I watch that.
I mean, I think that's incredibly subjective good, but I think both of them are like gold tier examples.
No, because for me, the objectivity comes from pretty much universally in the community. That is like the gold tier.
So you're saying enough people in the community subjectively think it's good, therefore it is now like an objective level.
Well, let's see. Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But like
basically everyone's like, that's dope.
Yeah, there's not, I mean, I don't hear ever, I mean, maybe it's because I don't have to pay attention, but I don't really hear a lot of qualms with what Modus is doing or what Storm is doing.
Yeah.
They're doing good stuff. And
fairly universally accepted in the community as
they're
good.
Yeah, and their athletes are objectively good.
Through those realms, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I see that, and I mean, it doesn't mean that like you have to have that platform to be objectively good.
Yes.
It's just like
yes. But I guess what I'm saying is like this is a great way to paint my point, is that if I only ever try to be good in the same facets that Modus and Storm are good, I will continue to be frustrated as shit with my training. Whereas if I learn from them and take elements of what they're good at and apply it to what I'm doing, but then just keep pursuing the things that I like doing and want to do, that's where I will succeed the most.
For me, there's like a well-roundedness that Storm and Modus have that to me comes with being like an objectively good athlete. It's
okay.
Like,
and I want to be well-rounded.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I'm not. Is like what I mean. Like
okay.
Like those athletes can do pretty much anything. Like
I think you're totally using that whole collective as an idea of everything that is good. Because each one of those athletes has certain strengths and weaknesses, because this is where a comparative mindset really starts to be harmful, is when you only pick out what each person is good at and you ignore what they're bad at. Because you're going to be looking at Max Antle's flips and Tim's swings and like Joe's jumps. Yes. And you'd be like, I am worse than each one of those people at all of those things. But I bet there are if you really like thought about it for a while, there are very clear things you're probably better at each of those people at, right?
Yes.
And so thinking of a comparative collective is really harmful, because you're looking at this is, if you put all those people that you just talked about into one person, they would be like a fucking freak, right? And they would be like insane at everything.
Well, see.
And so I'm saying is like someone like Tim.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is really good at certain things.
He's good at a lot of things.
I
picture him as good at, like, when I watch him, he's good at generally everything. There's things where he's exceptional at, but there's not a lot he can't, like, do. Or, like, if he's like, I want to learn this, he's not going to learn it.
Yes.
And that's what's good. Objective.
But there are, like, he definitely has weaknesses.
Okay, so his bottom tier,
yes,
his, like, weakest link is above any of another person's.
That's fair.
Exactly.
And he is one of the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that is an objective quality athlete.
Yes.
And looking at each athlete from, Modus or Storm, I get it's the same thing. Max Antle, I don't see that way.
I don't see Joe that way.
True. No. Oh, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is you're taking this entire group. You're taking the entire group and looking at as the best of each of them and ignoring their weaknesses.
No, Joe is not objectively good at flips.
Exactly.
But he's learning flips very quickly.
Okay, because you can see that.
That he's learning them?
Yeah. Because he's putting it out that he's doing it, and you're seeing that, and you're ingesting it.
But he's learning them quick. He's progressing in that fast.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's a good athlete that can progress and learn things and branch out, and he's going to be good at those things.
Yes.
Right now, he's not.
Okay, but what does that...
I can't branch out, is what I'm saying. I can't try new things and be good at them.
But I completely disagree.
Of 6 months.
I completely disagree. Because I've seen you grow in different areas very quickly.
Yeah, but they're the same areas.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Okay. What?
I mean, both your jumps and your flips have gotten, like, extremely good. And it hasn't taken you very long. And I think you're putting yourself down really hard right now. And I think that's the entire point of what I'm trying to make, is that is an unhealthy way to look at your training and not give yourself the credit that you deserve.
No. So I'm saying I'm probably a good example of someone who does do that, like, deceive myself to say this is objectively good and, like, put stuff out.
See, and I'm completely disagreeing in saying that you're thinking that, but it's wrong, because it is good. And by telling yourself
I faked it till I maked it, is what I'm saying.
No, but you're telling yourself that you're still faking it when you actually have made it and you are doing a good job.
But that's what I'm saying. It took faking it to make it. Like, I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do stuff.
But I think the difference here is that you think you're still faking it and you're not.
Because I've made it.
I don't think you think that.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. That's very different than what you said earlier.
Yeah. Dude, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, dude. I just think you don't give yourself enough credit, is what I'm saying, as your friend. Okay. Not that I consider you a friend.
No, I can give myself a lot of credit.
Okay.
But I can also recognize that objectively,
other people are good at parkour.
The standard is higher than me.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about myself too. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying that in order to continue training with a healthy mindset and to find the most progression and not limit yourself to having shitty training all the time by comparing yourself to other people all the time, just like go have fun.
But you can't deny that there is a standard. That's what I think. That's like the general idea. Is like there is
a standard. There's
an average of like ability.
And I think you're only comparing yourself to people that are above average.
No. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that is a bell curve that is hurting you.
No, and I'm saying when I watch them, I'm like, oh, I am at average. I'm below them. They're what are you saying?
I'm saying that every person you named is insanely above average, and then by you comparing yourself to them, you're like, oh, I am only average. Whereas there is this entire group of everyone else. You are comparing yourself to...
I'm at the peak of the bell curve, baby.
You're comparing yourself to like the top 3-ish% of parkour, and then being like, since I'm not there, I must be under 50%.
Oh, so you're saying I'm down maybe here.
You're viewing yourself down here when you're actually much past the top of the bell curve and you're over here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You are past the middle. You are much past the middle, but you're viewing... The only people that you're comparing yourself to are the people who are even farther on the bell curve than you are. Mm-hmm. And that gives you a skewed view of your training.
Fair. Yeah.
There we go. No. That's my point.
There's a lot of people here.
And you're past all of them.
No. Okay.
I'm saying you're taking a very limited data selection and then comparing yourself to the data selection instead of looking at everyone.
I think you're not looking at the number of people that are gonna be here.
You're saying gonna.
Yeah, you're not looking about how many people are there. The majority of the parkour community.
Yeah, and I don't think you're understanding where that is. I think your view of what the entire parkour community is skewed super heavily to who's really good. Because
I guess I only watch our videos in Modus and Storm. So maybe.
But.
Fuck you, I'm average. I made my point.
All right. You guys can let us know who the fuck is right.
Dude, we're going to put a freaking Instagram fire thing, the little vote.
The vote, yeah.
Yeah. And then the peak is, we're going to need to draw a graph.
I mean, you just do a poll. It's a yes or no, like me or you. You don't have to do a slider.
Okay, yeah. Fine. I want to make a graph.
Oh, dude. Usually you have to hit a conclusion at the end of the episode for it to work out and everyone's like, oh, I'm satisfied reaching the end.
No, we're leaving them on there.
We're going to leave it. All right. Well, yeah, I thought that would conclude a little bit more, but I think we're just going to leave it there.
I think I took you in a direction you were not expecting.
Yeah, and I think that I'm right.
Yeah, and I think I'm right, and that's okay.
Well,
we don't have to be friends.
We're not friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you trying to make us friends now?
You're trying to.
No.
I said, hey, chill.
I didn't even want to bring up the topic of us being friends because now we got to talk about it and it's weird.
Well, not my fault.
It's your fault.
Actually, it's not.
All right. Well, let me know who you'd rather hear than Skyler on the podcast next time. Oh, guys, thanks for watching. Please comment and let us know your thoughts on this topic because obviously there still needs to be some discussion.
Yeah.
And we'll see you,
And we made it very clear about what the topic is, so.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time. So, peace.